So one of the inevitabilities of relegation from the Premier League is that any assets that we have become saleable. And because of our situation in terms of our debts and all of the other financial constraints and pressures that we have around the club at this particular moment in time, means that we are caught in a little bit of a perfect storm. Now, obviously, a lot of the assets that we have, the likes of Mateus Fernandes and probably Crescencio Somerville and the players like that, we're probably resigned to losing. And to be fair, probably a lot of them we go with our blessing. But probably one of the players that we would be very keen to keep, amongst others, would be Jarrod Bowen. Now, who can forget that moment that he had in Prague to get the winning goal to get us our first trophy in, up to that point in time, 43 years of complete barren spell as far as lifting any silverware was concerned. His goal in Prague put an end to that and was one of the greatest days of my life. He's obviously our main goal scorer. He's our captain. He's our talisman. And for us to even contemplate losing him is something that is really tough to take. Really tough to take. We'll get into a conversation about that, guys. For those of you that are first time watchers here, if you haven't subscribed, please have a look and just click the subscribe button. If you've been here before, if you could just check anyway and just click subscribe, it really would help the channel out tremendously. And if you'd also tick the bell notification, that way you'll get all the notifications of when we upload stuff to the channel. Drop a like on the stream, and if you've got any hypes you want to donate to this particular broadcast, then please feel free to do so. Every little helps, as the advert says. So back onto the story about Jarrod Bowen. So I was out with my family this evening. We were doing a little pub quiz, and we actually won. We got ourselves, it wasn't a sort of like a life-changing prize or anything like that. It was a £25 bar tab. And given that my daughter works at this pub as well, and there was no shenanigans going on before anyone wants to sort of throw any accusations, it was all above board. The good thing is that because my daughter gets a staff discount, that 25 quid might stretch a little bit further. Again, every little helps, as they say. But anyway, so I've come back in a reasonably chipper mood and all the rest of it, and walked through the door, and up pops a little message on, as does on your phone, to say that there'd been one of the channels that I subscribe to on YouTube, E20Zone TV. James is a very, very knowledgeable guy and very articulate and has a great deal of energy and passion for the club about him. And if you haven't sort of had a look at his channel, please go across and have a look. I really would recommend him to you. But anyway, so I saw this broadcast from James and I was like, oh, what's this all about? And I guess it was one of those things, like I say, in the back of my mind, I probably knew that this was probably going to pop up at some point, but now appears that it's starting to come into focus. Obviously, you know, Xabi Alonso's gone in as the manager of Chelsea, and it would appear, and obviously bearing in mind that in the past couple of years since Blueco took over the club after the Roman Abramovich era came to its conclusion, they went down a pathway of getting in some young players in the main and sort of waiting to cultivate them and let them grow. Well, they've just finished a season where they've been quite disappointing in the Premier League. I think it's fair to say. I think they finished around about 10th there or thereabouts, which for a club of Chelsea's pedigree, reputation, stature, history, call it what you want, is completely unacceptable to them. Now, it would appear they're looking at going down a slightly different direction and trying to get in slightly more experienced players. Doesn't mean they're going to go to full hog and get a bunch of pensioners in, but they're going to try and sort of like filter in a few players with a little bit of experience, which probably is what has cost them in the season that's just concluded. One of the players, it would appear, is indeed our captain, our main goal scorer, our talisman, the hero of Prague, Jarrod Bowen. And it would appear a £40 million bid. Now, let's be completely clear. If we was a Premier League club, number one, I don't think that there's any real prospect of Jarrod Bowen moving on, quite frankly. I think that in Premier League, West Ham keeps on to Jarrod Bowen for the upcoming 26-27 Premier League season. But the truth of the matter is, we're not a Premier League club, and we're having to get used to that reality of the financial constraints that now we're going to have to juggle with. Our income will drop quite dramatically, but the debts are still there and need to be serviced in one way, shape, or form. The Vultures will inevitably be circling around any prize assets that we got. As I say, I'm quite comfortable with losing players such as Mateus Fernandes, Crescencio Somerville, and others. So long as we get what is a reasonable price, given our circumstances, then to be fair, I can't really complain too much. But Jarrod Bowen is a little bit of a different entity. For all the things that he's brought to the party, I don't want to lose the guy. I seriously don't. But then there's that little sense of realism that comes in that says that, look, we don't have the leverage to be able to stave off bids. And whilst I might say to myself, Premier League version of West Ham probably doesn't lose Jarrod Bowen in the first place. But if we do lose Jarrod Bowen, we're getting upwards 60, 65 million, something along those lines. We're getting more in terms of bang for our buck. Unfortunately, this is not Premier League West Ham. This is EFL Championship West Ham with 150, 200 million pounds worth of debt that needs to be serviced. But the income will drop next season dramatically. This creates something of a problem for us. And as I say, unfortunately, we kind of lose our bargaining position. We lose the ability to tell other clubs to go do one when they come in for our prime assets. Now, James made a mention on E20Zone TV that we've been here before. We got relegated in 2003, and we then had the likes of Joe Cole Glen Johnson that we lost to Chelsea. We'd previously lost Frank Lampard to Chelsea a couple of years earlier. So we've been here before. We've been in this situation where we've been up against it. We've been having the financial problems that relegation out of the Premier League brings to the party, and Chelsea have come effectively to our rescue. They're our rivals. It's West London versus East London. There's always been that little bit of needle between the two teams, but it does seem to be that whenever there's a little bit of a financial crisis going on at West Ham, it's usually Chelsea that come waving their checkbook. It's really frustrating. And one of the things as well that I sort of sit there and go is that I thought we weren't a selling club anymore, but I guess I'm just a fool as far as that's concerned. We are a selling club. Let's make no mistake about it. You've only got to look back and look what happened to Declan Rice. £105 million got the job done. And by the way, I thought that he acquitted himself very well in the Champions League final last night. I'm not one of the West Ham fans that wants Declan Rice to go and win nothing. I'm very pleased for him that he's won a Premier League title. I'm very pleased for him that he's played in a Champions League final. But as far as Arsenal's concerned, I'm not really fussed. But good luck to Declan. He did us proud for many years, gave us good service, and we got £105 million for an academy product. But anyway, getting back to the subject, Jarrod Bowen, I don't want to lose him. Like I say, would he be my choice as a captain? I'm going to get that one out of the way. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He got the armband because, quite frankly, we didn't have anybody else that probably was up to the job in all truth. So he probably got it by default. But that being said, whilst he might not be my idea of a captain and probably a lot of people's idea of a captain, I think he's carried that burden of responsibility in the most noble and courageous way possible for me. I think he's done it with absolute just such a commitment to the cause, even though he might not have what we all expect, sort of a Billy Bonds, a Julian Dix type character, but there are different types of captain. Bobby Moore wasn't that type of captain. He wasn't a sort of up and at 'em sort of come on, let's have a go sort of thing. He would lead by example. Maybe Jarrod Bowen's a bit more like that, but for me, I don't want to lose the guy. But the fact of the matter is that our situation might mean that we don't have a choice here, and that maybe, just maybe, we're going to have to say goodbye to Jarrod Bowen. I'd like it to be for more than 40 million quid. I'd love it to be that we could possibly afford to fend off any sort of bids for our star players such as Jarrod. But the fact of the matter is, and let's also have it right, another thing you got to throw into the mix, he's 29 years of age. We're not going to get another offer for Jarrod Bowen like this. If we turn this away, what we're pretty much saying is that we're basically saying that he's going to stay here for effectively the rest of his career. Now that's okay. If we was a Premier League club, that'd probably be fine. Championship version with all of the debts, I'm not too sure we can turn this away with regret. I really wish we could. I wish there was another way of dealing with the situation, but I think in all probability we may have to take this bid that is apparently coming our way. But what do you think? You might have something differently. As I say, I don't want to lose him. Let me be very clear. I do not want to lose our captain. I do not want to lose our talisman, our top goal scorer for the last number of years. I think he's our second top goal scorer in the Premier League era. Only a few goals behind the record holder, Michail Antonio, who's had a bit to say for himself of late, but I'll probably cover that in another video. But I don't want to lose the guy. But as I say, I don't think we've really got a choice. I wish it was different. But anyway, what say you? You might have a different point of view. You've got the comment section below. Get stuck into that. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you click subscribe, hit the bell notification. You won't be charged a copper coin. We don't get your data sensitive information. It just helps to grow the channel, and we appreciate your support. Also, give us a thumbs up on the video. Give us a hype if you've got one available. We'll see you again soon. Come on, you irons.
West Ham are massive everywhere we go. West Ham are massive everywhere we go.